That's awful.
It's Thursday, October 31st.
That's also horrible.
2013.
Rim?
I'm Rim.
Rim has skills in many things, but not acting.
And this is Geek
or
Nights.
voices.
Tonight, we'll be doing a show on politics, and then we will also be doing a show on the book club book, which involves politics. Also, it's the what year anniversary of Geek Nights?
I think we just finished year...
We started October 31st, 2005.
We just finished year 8. We are now entering year 9.
Yep. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good God, we've done a lot of Geek Nights.
That's how it is.
Geek Nights just keeps coming out.
Well, look how much, like Letterman, look at something like that.
I know. And it gives me heart because every time I feel like
Today I watched a video, Pee Wee Herman appearance on Letterman in 83. I
Whoa.
was one.
Whoa. I
may have actually been 0.
I randomly saw a clip from The Daily Show back when Craig Kilborn was on it.
Yep.
Man, that show looks way chintzy and way shit tier.
Yeah. Remember, TV wasn't even HD.
I know. Even watching daily shows from like 5 years ago, it's like, really? I watched this?
Yes.
It's like, it's not just that the production values have gone up. It's that like kinds of humor have gotten better and more polished, and like humor writing has gotten better.
Everyone gets better at everything all
I know.
the time.
I mean, watch stand-up comedy from the early 90s. Not much of it holds up, guys. Not much.
Some of everything holds up.
Stephen Wright, I still find funny, even though other people have done his kind of humor better since him, but I think he's still... Anyway, I digress. So, it's Thursday. It's the anniversary of Geek Nights. It's the lounge.
No, it's not.
And I figured we could talk about actual politics.
Well, you want to talk about it. All listeners want to hear it. I'm not interested. But I guess it's our anniversary, so we'll give gifts of people what they want.
Well, more importantly...
No, you should give us gifts of what we want.
You people always want us to do politics shows. Like, what about the NSA and Obama and foreign government?
We've talked about that like 100 times.
And as much as I like to talk about that stuff...
That shit has not changed.
The insights that you will get...
There's nothing new to say.
Well, there's new things to say. Scott just doesn't give a shit.
There's
but
nothing
what I will
new to say whatsoever.
is that the insights that I would give you should not be revelatory. If you hear me talking about politics and start thinking, oh, then you really need to pay more attention.
You need to read more internets.
Even though my knowledge is starting to diminish since it's been a while since the last It's All Politics.
But look, I mean, this was an issue, right, that they dealt with in the 1700s.
Which issue?
Privacy of individual people.
Well, we have a whole amendment about quartering troops and
Well,
unreasonable search and seizures.
They sort of came up with the answer already, and the right answer hasn't changed much. And yet people are still discussing it like it's new, like they just discovered this. There's nothing new to say.
Well, not most people aren't.
That was not figured out like a century ago.
Well, no, actually, most people aren't talking about it at all and don't care.
Just saying, anyone who is talking about it, there's nothing. Just like copyright. We've been having the same goddamn copyright argument since they invented the internet.
But
And
in
it
the
hasn't
early days of
changed.
the internet, we had the big argument and came to a bunch of conclusions, and it's just government and society have not caught up to internet.
Right, but there's nothing new to say. There's just stuff to...
But again, if you listen to Geek Nights and you have some revelation, some moment of
You did not...
gnosis.
You should read more internets. All Geek
But
Nights
anyway-
really does is read internets to you. It's like internet's the audiobook.
Yeah, but the point I'm getting at is that what you're going to get is, what we're going to talk about right now is politics that actually matters, but it only matters
The only thing that
if you live
actually
in New York
matters.
City.
State.
Maybe New York State.
No,
but
New York State.
Yeah, but it affects the city more.
These
some
are
of
all
this.
state
They are,
things.
but
Everyone in the state.
The
They
state
affect
is
everyone in the
the
state.
majority of the state is the city at this point.
That is true. But these are all state level things. So, yeah, usually you're getting all disillusioned with politics because your vote don't mean shit.
Yep, we know it don't mean shit.
And it's all corrupt. And unless you're mad rich and can bribe some senators or whatever, you basically just vote and that's it. And basically there's one thing that you can actually do. You can do it a lot if you live in Oregon. But in New York...
California, too.
Mostly Oregon is almost all freaking what's it called, referendums and
Oregon
stuff.
has what, like one congressional district? I'm going to look it up.
I don't know, but they have a ton of referendums and you send this whole booklet out to everyone. Anyway, in New York, we get these ballot proposals, which are effectively referendums. You go in and you vote yes or you vote no on these questions, not people, actual issues.
All right, Oregon has 1, 2, 3. Oregon has like 5 congressional districts. Good on you. There's more than like 5 people living there.
Right. So on these things, you can only vote yes or no. You can't give sort of a detailed response. And the thing is, they're not like delineated by party lines. It's not like yes Democrat, no Republican, right? It's you actually are getting sort of, real democracy happening here on these issues.
But at the same time, you're getting democracy from the least informed people who vote usually based on a bumper sticker they saw telling them Proposition 5 is good.
But have you seen in New York anywhere in the past month or two anything that says like yes on 3 or no on 5?
I did in grocery stores.
Oh, what did it say? What did the grocery store want?
I saw a thing in a grocery store that was talking about the first proposition, the casino one.
The casino one.
It was just
Does
a thing. It was
what
like,
is it? What does a grocery store care about casinos? Does
I
it
don't
want
know
to
if it
allow
was
it so
there-
that they can put slot machines in the grocery store?
I don't know if it was there officially,
Okay.
but it was like, vote yes, Proposition 1.
Okay. Probably someone loves gambling.
Or
Maybe the
proposal one, I
Maybe the
guess.
guy who owns a grocery store is a gambling addict,
I don't know.
and he's tired of going to Jersey.
But anyway, I
Connecticut.
digress. The point we're making, the high-level point here is that we're going to have a real conversation about politics, as in the stuff that matters, that we have a statistical effect over, that we care about, and that depending on how the vote goes, something real changes for us as real people.
Yeah. And if you don't live in New York, it's probably meaningless to you.
If you don't live in New
it
York-
may be entertaining to you.
And also,
You wanted it.
You should find out the things you can vote for that might matter that
yeah,
are
you
local.
live somewhere else in the United States, most of you anyway, except you foreign folk. You foreign folk don't have a government that has the kind of problems ours has, most of you, Northern European types especially. So you don't have to worry about this shit. But I'm sure you have other shit to worry about. So whatevs.
So, Proposal 1, authorizing casino gambling.
Basically, if
a
you
tough one for me already.
I don't know if I'm going to go yes or no because it's sort of even, right? If you vote yes, that means they're going to allow real casinos with table games and everything in New York State.
Up to 7 of them.
But they won't allow any in the New York City for 7 years. So that means the first one will open up in New York City in 2020.
Now, already,
or
this
2021.
is the thing. Ideologically, I believe in freedom over most other things. But I say
agree.
most, because I'm not a uppercase L libertarian. I prefer to not have the freedom to
Yes.
murder people or dump raw sewage in the river.
Right, I agree. You should be free to gamble your money away if you wish.
I mean,
However,
I should be able to gamble on a game of Puerto Rico with Scott if I want to. And
absolutely.
But
you are stupid if you do so in most cases.
Yes, I
especially
mean-
in a casino, which there are no games you can win unless you are the house.
And thus, here's the reality. In my opinion, lotteries and casino gambling are just a tax on the poorest
Yes.
and least able people in our society.
exactly. People say, oh, the lottery's okay because the money goes to schools, which it does. And in fact, this thing also says...
It goes to schools, thereby replacing the property taxes
Yes.
that normally fund schools, thus no net benefit to schools. And then when gambling income dries up, schools are fucked.
Yep, it's going to say, look, regulate to 7 casinos, increasing aid to schools, permitting local governments to lower property taxes.
Oh, yeah, you're reading the
Otherwise, we're-
page. It's like why we should vote for it.
It says right there on
Yeah.
the right. So basically, what they're going to do is they're going to tax rich people less, and instead tax the casino. You think, well, a tax on a casino is a tax on the rich person who owns the casino.
Nope.
No, the money the casino gets comes from the
Also,
poor people and the stupid people who go to the
Fuck
casino.
that noise. I would only
Are there
vote
high rollers in the casino? Yes, very few. Most of the money comes from old ladies putting coins in. So
I would
basically-
only vote yes for a casino in New York like this if, one, it wasn't obviously a corrupt law, and I'll talk about why it's a corrupt law in a minute.
I would vote.
two,
yes.
Because if they did not lower any other taxes, and this was just additional money going into schools.
Even if they don't lower any other taxes, it's still a regressive tax. I would vote yes if it was a casino only with high rollers in it. And
there's
no
another way
poor
to go.
people allowed.
One could argue that people who are that sad they're gonna make their way to Atlantic City occasionally on those buses. And put their
Obviously.
money in there anyway.
You're saving them some money because they have to travel less?
And two,
Because
if
the
you
bus to Atlantic City isn't cheap
if
enough already?
all of the money, as in like some ridiculously high tax.
Oh, the casino is a non-profit casino. 100% of its profits. go
Either
to
it has
the-
like an 80% tax, or it's a government-run casino, and all the profits.
Yeah, the same way those liquor stores in those other states.
Exactly.
Right?
If all the profits went into schools and property taxes and other school revenues were not decreased in
Yeah.
any way, then I'd be okay with it because you'd be taking money from dumb and poor people now and funding the next generation to be less dumb.
Now, here's what I would do. If I ran a state, I would say, look, we're not going to open up any casinos except this online casino that only people in our state can use, which means less poor people are going to use that because it's an online casino. It's harder for them to use it. They need
I
credit
would
cards.
have a wink and a nod to that only people in our state part.
Obviously, but it would mostly be people who have credit cards, which eliminates a lot of those lower income peoples, and it's mostly going to be not as regressive a tax. Also, it would cost less. We wouldn't have to open physical casinos, and 100% of the money that casino makes would go to the state.
But I'm
there wouldn't be
philosophically
anyone who owns
opposed
it.
to this proposition.
Yeah, this is going to be a no.
Because this specific one, there's two problems with it. One, the fact that it forces the first casinos to all be out of New York City. I'm done with this New York State bullshit. I'm done with New York State continuously holding. It's so much cheaper to lobby
actually,
up there.
keeping the casino outside of New York City actually makes it less regressive because if you put the casino in the city, all those poor people in the city are going to be able to go to it real easy. If you keep it out of the city, it might end up being more like a Mohegan Sun, which is the kind of casino that, the sort of middle, class Connecticut people go to.
But obviously, the moratorium on having it in New York City is purely because upstate interests want to have the so-called economic benefit in their local area first. There's a bunch of pork going on with this. You know that a bunch of people have paid a lot of money to ensure
the state
that the first
senator
casinos
from
were
one
going to actually be in like these specific
There's
places.
a state senator somewhere who's buddies with the guy who wants to open the casino, and he's pushing this. Anyway. All right,
The other reason I'm
wanna move on to number two?
philosophically opposed to this particular law, I forgot why I was opposed to it.
It's a casino.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Casinos are
No on
generally pretty
casinos,
shitty.
even though I think gambling is dumb to do.
Wait,
should be
what
allowed
just
to do
happened
it.
here? Look at this. Rim and Scott have an ideological position on something,
It's mostly
but yet also have a
pragmatic.
practical position on a reality of that thing.
Most people, the real news we're basically more advanced than the real news already, which is why I ignore the real news. All right, so number 2, this one.
Oh, right. Here's the other reason why I was mad about this law. All the literature that is for it is really pushing the idea that it lets us lower taxes. I don't want to lower taxes. I want to raise taxes.
Right. Anyway, number 2, this one I sort of don't care about, and I can see good and bad, and I'm not passionate, or I might even just not even vote on it. So what it is.
Additional civil service credit for veterans with disabilities.
Certified post-appointment. So what this means is that if you are a veteran, right, and you have been wounded in some way, you have disability of some kinds, you're in the military and now you have a disability, and you want to get a state job in New York State, right? You work for the state, some kind of working for the state job, whatever it is. It could just be like janitor in the town, in the city, in the capital of Albany, or, who knows what it could be, but some sort of state job. It could be state trooper, all right? You have to take a civil service exam. There are all kinds of these things. I know some people who've taken them, and it's just a lot like bureaucracy. You take some crazy test, and you get a score. And that score determines whether you can get these state jobs or not.
I took one to be a part of the census in the federal government. That was my
Sure.
first job.
Right. So you take the civil service exam, you get a score, and the higher score increases the likelihood, or in fact guarantees the likelihood, or that you will or will not be able to get a job working for the state. Well,
So the sad thing, when I took the federal one for the U.S. Census in the year 2000,
you
I got a perfect score. And so
Pretty
few
much
people,
if any educated person takes these things, they will get a perfect score.
so few people got more than 50%
yes.
in my area that they called me daily begging me to work in I got offered every position.
A lot
in
of
the
times people will
census.
get a too good a score and won't get the job they want. Like they want to go work for the police station. It's like you can't be a cop. You score too high. Stuff like that. Anyway, you hear those stories once in a while. So with
I
this,
think this might sound harsh. I think I'm going to vote no on this one too.
okay, well, you convinced me because I'm basically abstain right now. So
My
if
rationale is simple.
If you say yes, basically what you're saying is that if someone's a disabled veteran, they get bonus points. So if they score middle of the pack, they're going to get bonus points because they're a disabled veteran, and they might get a job that they were underqualified. They'll basically get preference over someone else who scored the same as them, which is sort of unfair if you think in a meritocracy kind of fashion, right?
But it's also
just
fair in the
because
sense that we know our veterans get shit on and their credentials.
Just because you're a disabled veteran, you should get bonus points, or you're a disabled veteran, you deserve bonus points. Both of those, in my mind, are 100% equally credible.
I think we need better social safety nets for veterans so that we don't need to do this kind of
Well, look
safety
at
net.
in New York City, for example, if you're a veteran, you can get a street vending permit way easier, and the street vending permit that you get as a veteran lets you set up your table to sell stuff in way better locations, like the touristy areas. Whereas if you're not a veteran, it's almost impossible to get that street vending permit. And even if you do get one, it's going to let you set up in a place where there's not a lot of people. Like you'll set up your hot dog cart in Astoria and not in, the corner of Central Park. And if you see a lot of those people who are street vending in New York City who have the really good spots and aren't breaking the law, by getting illegal permits, they're mostly veterans because those are the people who can get the permits because of the way the system works.
But I guess because of the combination of our economy being not so great right now and the fact that a lot of people need these jobs anyway and veterans already get some level of preference, I really don't want to prod the bureaucracy further.
But think of the veterans.
I do think of the veterans.
The children.
We need to think about the veterans at a much more systemic level than this Band-Aid law.
That's true, but you still didn't convince me to not abstain.
Yeah, I'm not 100%. I think I'm going to vote no, but I'm probably going to make a snap decision in the little voting booth.
Abstain.
Proposal 3, exclusion of indebtedness contracted for sewage facilities.
Now you might say, who gives a fuck about this?
I give a lot of fucks about this.
Right, so what this is let's say you have a town, you're a mayor in New York somewhere, like Elmira, piece of shit town, right? And you want to set up...
If you live in Elmira and you take issue with what Scott just said, you know why.
Fuck you.
Anyway. You know what? You're not even in
All right, let's say
anymore.
You live in a good city in New York, like Corning. You're the mayor of Corning, right?
All right.
Corning setting up some sewers. Well, they've already got sewers there, of course, but maybe they need to improve the sewers or add new sewers for the new neighborhood or who knows what. Maybe the sewer is getting a little broken. They need to fix it. Well, they need some fucking money for that, right? So where does a town get money if they don't have the enough tax money because they already budgeted it all? Bonds, get taken debt. Right? You borrow fucking money. That's how it works. Right?
This extends the limit of the debt that that your city can have to have paid for sewage infrastructure improvements.
So your sewer breaks. You need to get some debt to fix the sewer, or you need to expand your sewer because people have septic tanks and they suck.
But there's debt limits.
There's a limit on the amount of debt you are legally allowed to take, and you've already taken it all, so you can't fix the sewer, and now there's poop everywhere. So if you say yes on this, you're basically saying yes. Allow towns to get more monies borrow more monies than they
beyond their limit
beyond
for the
limit
purposes of sewer,
so that they can fix the sewers and not have shit all over their town.
Now
and why would the fuck would you say no to this?
Well, because the argument against
let shit get everywhere.
Really,
let everyone have septic tanks, which are bad.
We need more revenues so we don't have to go into debt to do basic infrastructure.
Well,
anyway.
That's a good idea too, but
also
you need to fix your shitter right now. You can't.
Exclusion,
if your shitter's overflowing, you don't wait on that.
This exclusion has been in place since 1962. It just happens to be expiring next year.
Right.
So that's the only reason we're voting on this is to extend it another decade.
Well, if it's worked from 62 to 2013
now,
and there hasn't been poop all over the place, I think we should say yes to keep the poop underground.
Look what happened in Detroit. It is possible that there are townships or cities or municipal entities and even counties in New York State that are accruing debt that eventually will force them into bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what to do about that, but...
Just because you go bankrupt doesn't mean the people who live there should have poop everywhere.
I feel like poop prevention on a mass scale is one of the most important things government does.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about things government does, it's like take the poop away, bring the water in. Okay, not let everything get set on fire. Not let everyone kill everyone. Those are the fundamental parts. Before we start, we're lucky that the things we have to worry about in government are like these high level things, like. Not they aren't important, but like abortion and stuff and all these kinds of, social issues.
Yeah, but not like
gay
India
marriage.
Do we get sewage treatment?
Yeah.
No.
It's like, yeah, we need gay marriage. That's important, but we're lucky that we can even think about that and not have to spend our time thinking about keep the poop underground.
Scott, how do you know he's a king? He hasn't got shit all over
him. That's right. So let's keep the shit off the king and the regular people That's why we're better than those medieval folks.
So 4 and 5 are kind of part of the same
They're the
issue.
same thing. I don't know why it's split up like this. What would happen if you didn't vote the same way on both of these? I don't know.
I didn't read the full text of either one.
What would happen for so the first one, we'll just do both together. The first one is basically the Constitution of New York State says that the Adirondack foresty land has to remain public property forever. Period. Okay, so that's a constitutional thing. So they want to make an amendment that says settle this land dispute and let this part of the forest become private property. And the second one says let them frack all over that forest that's now private property. So it's like, well, what if we vote no, you can't have the land? Yes, you can frack on it. Or what if we say, yeah, you can have the land, can't frack it? What happens? I don't get it. It makes no sense.
So I think
obviously you vote no, you can't have the land. It's a fucking my land. It's state land, and no, you're not going to.
Well,
frack
it's complicated because if you vote for 4, what it does is the state gives up its claim on certain parcels of land, but then gets an unlimited.
But doesn't
lease
it
on
make
the other
doesn't it
lands.
make a constitutional amendment such that all future land is no longer protected by the Constitution because the amendment opened the can of worms? So even though immediately only that land would go, it opens up all the other land because the Constitution is now changed.
I got to read the full text of it to figure out the nuanced detail of it. 'Cause
Yeah.
it seems to be specific to the town of Long Lake in Hamilton County.
Yeah, and it doesn't even say what the dispute is. It just says there is a dispute and they can't resolve it. And in order to resolve it without amending the Constitution,
Why don't they just resolve it with eminent domain?
Oh, that's a good point. But and basically, in order to resolve it, even if they use eminent domain, it's one of the arguments here is they're going to have a lengthy court battle, which will be
the
expensive.
Constitution is complicated. The Constitution actually forbids the lease, sale, exchange, or taking any forest preserve lands. They can't add to the preserves either.
Yep.
So if we vote yes, we could actually theoretically also take land. But I don't really want to let Nyco Minerals Incorporated fuck around with the forest just because I don't trust anyone in our government
Because you
anymore.
use that forest?
I just don't trust anyone anymore. And I kind of want to wait on these things.
It's worked so well in North Dakota.
Let's
look at other places that say, it's like whether you think, whether there is an environmental danger for the mining or not, it's like that almost doesn't matter. It does matter, but it almost doesn't
need to
matter.
Figure that out, not us.
It almost doesn't matter for this decision because we can simply just look at the human effects of what has happened in North Dakota where they said yes, and look at what is happening there where basically you have like all these horrible social things happening because of the mining community that has sprung up. And we don't want that in New York. At least I don't want that in New York. Keep that in your shitty state, non-existent North Dakota.
All right, I'm gonna read a little bit of the details of this one. So go over the last proposal.
Okay.
'Cause I'm not sure I'm voting on the forest stuff yet, other than no fracking.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to vote no, you can't have the forest. And
The first
no,
one
you
I
can't
might
frack
vote
the
yes
forest.
on. I gotta read the
yes,
piece
you
of
can
this.
have the forest, but no, you can't frack
Because
it.
yes, you can have the forest. Also gets more forest back, and
Does
the
it?
state gets to pick.
Which forest are we picking?
I'm trying
Maybe
to figure
we
that
should look
out.
at maps and figure out which forest we like better.
Go over the last one about the old people.
The last one's pretty obvious. It basically right now, judges in the Supreme Court, which in New York State is actually the lowest court, and the Court of Appeals, which is I guess the one above that. I don't know. But basically, state court judges are forced to retire when they're 70. Just like, get out. Your job is done. We're getting new judges, and I don't know if those are appointed judges or elected judges, but whether you are appointed or elected, you're kicked out at 70. Your judging days are over. And basically, this says, well, look, people are living longer. Why don't we let them keep judging till they're 80? They're so experienced. Why would you kick out the experienced judge to bring in some young, unexperienced
Now, on
judge?
one end, ideologically, I don't like the idea of a mandated forced retirement.
Yeah, I
but
guess not.
Practically,
Kick out the old people, bring in the young
tire of
people.
old people in government.
Yes, that
And
old,
I'm sure there are good old people in
out
government.
of pure self-interest, a young judge is more likely to judge in a way that meets my sense of social justice. Less likely to say, not want to do gay marriages or, be racist when judging against a person of color or et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying that all the old judges are like that. I'm just saying more likely that an old judge, not knowing any individual judge, is more likely to not judge in the way I want to judge. So I want to kick out the old judges and bring in the young judges.
All right, I found some text that I got to go through in more detail on that forest one.
Okay.
But the amendment seems to indicate that it adds an exception that allows the state to do this settlement and trade the land for the other land.
But then not do anything else ever?
Only in relation to title disputes in Township 40, Totten and Crossfield.
So basically, they're amending the whole constitution
In the town of Long
state.
Lake, Hamilton County, to resolve this specific
So there's
dispute.
a whole constitutional amendment that's going to name this really fucking specific exception.
You know what this tells me? Our state constitution is fucked the fuck up.
Probably, yeah. Most of them are.
Yup.
They're pretty old. It's not like, the state constitution of Hawaii, which is pretty new.
I will read it in more detail. I think I'm going to vote yes on the first part and no on the second part of the forest.
You figure out if voting yes on the first part means that they're going to do some mineral whatevers or whatnot.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it doesn't even say who's taking the land. I don't know.
I got to read it in more detail. There's tons of pages.
And now
of shit
imagine,
there.
right, so we're going to read this and figure it out. Almost everyone who's going to vote is going to have no fucking clue and is going to vote randomly.
Now, more
or
importantly,
not vote.
these are,
on this
again,
part.
the kinds of decisions that I'd rather experts that we trust in government be making.
Well, how come the state, legislature just couldn't figure this shit out? Why did it become a proposition on the ballot?
Because of the way our Constitution's set up here.
Let's move on.
All right. So, spooky things of the day.
Not so spooky.
So there's a tradition for me. I'm a Farker. If you guys didn't pick up on that, I read Fark.
You have any total farks right now?
I do not have total. I don't post to Fark much.
When's the last time you total farked?
Oh God, like 4 years ago.
Okay.
I only ever total farked if someone gifted it to me, and I don't post that often anymore. I just read because I don't have time to post. I don't think many people on Fark know who I am anymore, but I Fark. I'm a
People
Farker.
knew you were a name on Fark.
No, there are some people like My Little Pony Killer and Three Horn. Like there's people.
Great.
So anyway, or the Titty Bopper.
Sure.
So there's a tradition on Fark every year at Halloween to have the Halloween spooky story thread.
Doesn't it just get repetitive?
No, because everyone has new stories. There's new people on Fark. People post either their creepypasta or like the scary ghost stories that happened to them as kids that may or may not, they're like, I don't believe in ghosts, but when I was a kid, this freaky shit happened, and here's my story filtered through the memory of a child.
That's why it has ghosts in it.
And this thread is a delight on Halloween. And if you enjoy to read ghost stories, even if you do not believe in ghosts, this is the kind of thread where you will find a bunch of kind of normal, mundane. It's the kinds of stories that all your friends would collectively tell around campfires on Halloween. And you can just read them collected in this Fark thread. And I defy you to not be creeped out by fishy.
All right. So, people like to wear costumes on Halloween. We're in New York City. We've seen a lot of costumes going around. But this one here at San Diego State University, their college baseball team had their annual Halloween contest. Basically, they played real game of baseball wearing funny costumes, and it's pretty great because, it's one thing to wear costumes. It's like I go to so many conventions now. Costumes basically mean nothing to me. I don't even see them. Two guys at work, both dressed up as Doctor Who, and it was the same Doctor Who, and they didn't know. And they one guy was keeping it all secret, and I'm like, do you have any idea how not original any Doctor Who costume is ever? There's 10 bazillion people dressing up as Doctor Who.
You would know.
He was acting like
you gotta ask him is which doctor.
It was the one with the fez. I don't know which one that is.
You know. Okay.
I just know it's the one with the fez. Anyway, so yeah, these guys played baseball in their costumes, which increases the awesomeness and freshens up the whole thing again. Because not only are you wearing the costume, you're doing something in the costume, and some of their costumes are pretty clever and hilarious. Watching Obama at first base, that's pretty good. Obama getting the double play. Thanks, Obama.
Actually, speaking of Obama, my healthcare provider is getting rid of my plan, and they're blaming Obamacare for it.
Okay.
So now I got to change. I'm going to get worse healthcare, actually.
Okay.
I have to change healthcare, and it's worse
Why
thanks
don't you
to
just
Obamacare.
get the Obamacare then?
Because I have to do it through my company.
I thought it's if you don't get it through your company, then
it costs way more to get it through an exchange.
Oh, I thought the whole point of the exchange was that you can get good.
The whole point of the exchange is
less than buying it from directly from a healthcare company.
Yes, but that's still way more expensive than getting it through your employer the old-fashioned way if you can get a job. The problem really is that you need a job to have healthcare. Obamacare is like the first babyest backwards blind step toward a possibly almost better solution. It's not the answer. And it's so sad that we had to fight that hard to get that. Like, that's what we want.
Well, let's vote out these old judges so none of them will say Obamacare is unconstitutional.
Yeah. So, Stasiland.
Well, things of the day. Oh, we did things of the day. Meta moment.
Oh, yeah. New forum. It's awesome.
Yeah, we got a new forum. The only people who don't like it are people who don't like change. There's always people who don't like change. I ignore them and give them the finger, as I has always done. Things change. Deal with it. You got used to that second forum, and you didn't complain, so whatevs. What else?
I made my 15,000th post in our forum.
Great.
Today.
I don't know how many I've made.
I said, I'm game. I wish I knew if I could put prescription lenses frames together
Where
with it
are
at
post
delivery.
counts? I thought there are no post counts.
On your profile. Comments.
Oh, but it's only for you. It's not for anyone else, right?
That's what it appears to be, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. What other meta moments? Go to MagFest?
Go to MagFest. We're going to be at like Zenkai Con and Anime Boston and PAX
We have
East.
YouTube channels. On my YouTube channel is a lot of Netrunner videos. On Rim's YouTube channel is a lot of Utena videos.
Yep, we uploaded a new episode of Geek Nights Present Shoujo Kakame Utena. It's 35 minutes long.
Longer than the episode of Utena it talks
Way longer than the episode, but that's because it was a complicated episode.
about. It was, but all episodes from here on out are complicated.
No, the next episode's really straightforward. Nanami murdered that cat
The end.
because she was jealous of it.
The end.
That's it. Oh, yeah, and Nanami has issues. Oh, yeah, and Nanami tricked her into dueling. Or Toga tricked her into dueling. Oh, that's it. That's what happens in the next
I
episode.
haven't watched that episode in 100 years. Anyway.
I remember that episode pretty well.
So, any other meta things at all?
Nah.
I sent out the newsletter again. If you want to, I'm doing that. If you want to
I
subscribe
didn't get a
to
newsletter.
it didn't work.
I didn't get one.
Uh-oh. Did anyone get it?
I definitely did not get a newsletter, Scott.
Uh-oh. I got to check to make
What'd you do?
I pushed the send button.
Let me look in my spam folder. The fuck do I even get to my spam folder?
I'm going to log in and try to send it now.
Spam. More. Spam. It's not in my spam.
It
Oh,
says
wow.
Sent 18. All right. Oh, sorry, but our anti-spam flagged this message for some reason, so we can't send it right now. It'll be sent after a member of our abuse team has reviewed it.
Huh.
There is nothing spammy about this email.
Maybe you linked to something that is on one of their lists.
I don't know. Tumblr, YouTube. Well, we'll see. It'll be sent out soon, I guess.
Or they're going to like cut down our account.
I don't know. It doesn't look like spam to me. It looks like a
I swear to
newsletter.
God, if I get this newsletter and it's like Viagra for your Cialis,
Sure.
or just a bunch of Japanese that basically says buy Versace.
Yep. All right.
So, Stasiland.
So, Rim chose this book.
Because Emily read it and it seemed interesting.
Rim
so I
just
picked
reads
up and
whatever
read
Emily
it.
tells him to read.
Well,
and then often picks it as the book club book.
I'm probably going to pick
Emily's choice.
Well, if you're a good boy, Scott, I'll probably pick Watership Down as the next book.
Well,
if you're a bad boy,
another Emily's choice.
If you're a bad boy, I'm going to pick something that you're not going to like.
Oh, so basically the good boy choice is always Emily's choice. Why don't we just have Emily do book club? Get Rim out of here.
We can have a three-way cycle, but
no, just get
but
Rim
Scott,
out.
if you're
no
bad,
Rim. No Rim allowed.
or if your choice is not
it's
a book,
Scott and Emily book club.
you realize if you step falsely, the next book is going to be the Satanic Verses, which I've always wanted an excuse to
What
read.
the hell is wrong with you?
Do you know what the Satanic Verses is?
Yeah, it's what's his face. The
Rushdie?
No, with the other guy.
The other guy, not Salman Rushdie.
Is it? I thought it
Yes.
was. Oh, I thought it was the book by LaVey.
No.
Okay.
No. No.
What's that book then?
You don't know about this book. It's crazily controversial history. All the people who have died because of this book.
Okay.
You don't know anything about this book.
I know who Salman Rushdie is.
Do you know why he's famous currently still?
Isn't he like
Okay. That'll be my book club book.
he's like a Muslim guy that like Muslim
up.
people hate
Now
because
you have
he's
fucked
all
up.
secular, right? I think it's something like that.
Okay, this is going to be the next book then.
Anyway. So Anton LaVey wrote the Satanic Bible, not the Satanic Verses.
I've read the Satanic Bible. I don't really want to read it
I was like,
again.
why are you making that the book club?
If I was going to make something like that the book club, I would pick, what would I pick if I was going all Satanist?
The Necronomicon?
It's not that interesting, actually.
No kidding. Anyway, the next book club book is...
Have you decided?
I did decide because I
Oh.
used my... it's actually it's too easy for you, which made me reluctant to choose it. But the reason of it being easy for Rim was not enough to dissuade all the other good reasons for choosing it, which are A, it is on Scott's shelf, hasn't been read yet, which is always the first factor, right?
No.
And factor number 2, Cyberpunk, so relevant to Netrunner playing and such, right? So next book club book is Idoru by William Gibson, which Rim has already read.
Yep.
So he doesn't do anything.
I will read it again because I remember.
That way you can actually talk about it.
Well, I can talk about it. The problem is I will talk in some generalities.
I guess maybe the correct pronunciation title is Idoru.
It's like you've seen Macross Plus.
Yeah, it's Macross Plus the book.
Kinda. Only without as many badass fighter jets and with a lot more existential drama.
Oh, I just want to throw in one anime tangent here, even though it's Thursday.
Something related to Kill la Kill?
No, Kill la Kill is on Crunchyroll. If you go to the Crunchyroll store, they have a store where they sell stuff like physical goods, right? Right now, they are selling mystery box. It's not the first time they've done this. Mystery box of 30 anime DVDs version 2.0. It's the second time they've done this. For $20. $20, 30 mystery anime DVDs. You only have 2 more days, I think, to even sign up.
Yes, because I really need 29 Akane's High Kick DVDs.
You sell them individually afterwards.
For $1 each.
And get your money back.
Yeah.
And there's some good ones in there. Or you rip them all and then whatever. And it's super fun to get a box of random anime DVDs.
I might do it anyway, but I got to tell you.
And there's a discount if you're a Crunchyroll member. That's a discount on top of the discount.
I have a lot of anime DVDs that are still in shrink wrap.
I just want to get it to make an unboxing video and laugh at whatever's in there. It's like a surprise.
We should
All you people hate spoilers so much. You must fucking love surprises, right? So buy this. It's a surprise in a box for $20. You love surprises more than anything. All right.
Why don't we buy it and review every DVD that comes?
I already bought it.
Well, we should anything we have not already reviewed that we see.
So nothing.
We should watch.
We're not going to see anything in there we haven't seen.
We have not reviewed Akane's High Kick. So if we get 29 DVDs of Akane's High Kick, I guess we're going to have to watch it.
I think they'll all be different. They're not going to be 30 of the same DVD.
It'll be the Sanctuary away. I don't think that ever even made it to DVD.
No, it's VHS only. All right. Let's talk about Stasiland, the actual book club book.
So here are my criticisms of it. I liked it a lot.
I liked it okay.
The stories were good, but the author focused way too much on the parts I didn't care that much about and totally left the threads I was really interested in just hanging. Like when she met with the super propaganda guy.
Oh, that was the most interesting guy.
And she barely talked about him and just never didn't finish the interview and paraphrased him a whole bunch.
It's that should have been.
I want a book just about him.
The guy was so crazy. I can sort of understand why, she more talked about, his personality and him as a person.
And her being mad at him.
Right. And, which is understandable because she did a really good job of letting you picture what that guy is like.
Oh my God,
crazy,
I can picture him in my
cranky
face.
Old man. Right. It's like she did a really good job of that in this book. But really bad job of talking about anything he actually did historically or whatever, right?
Yep.
It's like I wanted to actually know about, things he did and whatnot. And I'll know historical documentation almost.
And thus, my primary problem with the book, while I enjoyed it, Anna Funder put herself into the story in this sort of journalistic way that is a style I almost always hate.
Right. Well, there are ways to do that, right? And I actually, thought about
Hunter
that
S. Thompson does that very well.
Well, Michael Moore in his movies does that.
Yes.
Right? He does his documentary where he self-inserts. And the thing is, even you look at him, sometimes it works. Like the first movie he did about Ford Motor Company, he did a good job of putting himself in there.
Yeah.
But in some of the other ones, he didn't do a good job. And you can actually see in Fahrenheit 9/11, he only inserted himself in so much as narrating and didn't really go in the movie himself so much as in the other ones. Maybe because he, saw and recognized that putting himself in that movie didn't really work. Right? And that's sort of the case you get here.
Well, I think it's weird conspiracy theory in the second half.
Well,
is what really
obviously, the crazy conspiracy theory notwithstanding, we're just talking about the filmmaking aspect, right? So here, in the bookmaking aspect of this, it's like the self-insertion, I think, in some parts was good and in some parts was bad, right? In terms of the good, it was like, noticing those drunken guys who always hung out in the park and then going to hang with them. It's like, showing you, that sort of thing that goes on by...
Or having those very mundane experiences like with her landlord who lived through a lot of this shit.
Right.
And being the outsider, those people seem to open up to her more than they would a German.
Right. But in other parts, it's like, she would just interview someone and you would end up learning less about that person's story because of the way the perspective was,
she would keep
still
talking
this
about
camera looking at both of them, her and the person she was interviewing.
She'd keep telling me about her feelings listening to this person and from her experience as an Australian who doesn't speak German that well.
She spoke enough German,
Yeah, but there were points where she kind of noted that she would lose nuance and subtlety.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it showed in the fact that some of her interviews she would put direct quotes. But in a lot of them, like you could see, like there'd be direct quotes and then there'd be a long paraphrased paragraph. I don't want to say she was lying or that she was filling
I don't think
details
she was
in,
lying or whatever.
But I think she was reading way too much into some of the things people said. And I think she was adding to the story more than was necessarily implied by what these people said and implying a lot based on her own experiences. So I didn't 100% trust her retellings of some of the stories.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
She said a lot of things about the other person was angry, the other person was sad, and I didn't really trust that those emotions were being captured. But some of the stories were the kinds of stories that you wouldn't get in the more traditional histories of this because she was a journalist there getting these stories not too long after the wall fell down.
Yeah.
When the German media was...
It still isn't too long after the wall fell down.
But the German media didn't want to touch this with a 100-foot pole.
No, and the thing is, some of these individual people, like crazy propaganda guy, right? And it's like, Milky was still alive. I didn't know that. I mean, I knew who he was. I didn't know he was alive at that late in the game and wasn't even in jail or anything, right?
But like some of these stories we wouldn't have gotten any other way. And my favorite
the guy who painted the line, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, those stories were great, especially the guy who stole that fucking plaque.
That's the best one. Isn't that the same guy who painted the line?
I think it
or
is,
or that's a different guy. It was a different guy. It was a different guy, I think.
Yep.
The guy who stole, or was it? It might have been.
Pretty sure it was the same guy.
It could have been the same guy. That guy was an interesting dude. He reminded me a lot of like that guy who thinks he's like the fifth Beatle or whatever, where it's like,
yeah,
right? Anyway.
But I guess my main problem with the book is that much of the history and everything else could have been gotten from better, more direct sources. And if you removed all the stuff about the author herself, then there wouldn't be much book left.
That's true.
Especially toward the end. Like, she goes on and on about these sort of trivial details of her trying to get it. Like, she gets into the archive to watch some of those old propaganda videos. I want to read a book just about those propaganda videos.
You're telling me.
And she only was there for what, like a day watching them, and then she wrote her whole thing just
and
from
and the one she focused most on was like this lady who apparently, she could really, it's like, who had a normal story, right? Of living in a horrible place. And it's like, she, that was the main focus, is relating to these normal people. And I think, that was the person she could relate to most. And it wasn't something that's, worthless. It was very valuable, but it's not what I wanted.
Her
to
story
read more
and
of.
her relation with that lady had weird undertones at times that I couldn't tell if it was just the way she writes. But I got weird
she
vibes.
kept putting in, like, she kept trying to call her and leave voicemails. And then when they finally met again, they were super friendly after X years.
Yep.
And
like a lot of those scenes were just written with such detail that there's no way that was all recalled from memory. And that and they read the way I would write the early parts of a romance, like a lesbian romance. I don't think that's what was going on, but they read like that.
No, you can't disagree with that. That's
yeah,
the way it was written.
that undercurrent was there, and it was really distracting.
Yep.
So
the
honestly,
thing that the book, if you know about East Germany, and this isn't going to teach you that much more you didn't already know. All right. In terms of, what happened there historically speaking. And if you want to know that and you don't, there's better places to learn it. But the thing that I didn't know, or that this book pointed out to me, of the many points it made, this wasn't the main point, but the thing that I thought was most interesting was how when the East German people sort of felt like those Nazis are gone. Good, right?
Yup.
Like they weren't the Nazis. It's like, no, you were the Nazi.
But
those people are you.
It shows how powerful propaganda is. If propaganda says something you really wish was true.
Right, but also now they basically feel like, oh, those communists are gone. It's like, no, the ones of you who are old you are
it's
the
like
communists.
you know what? It's like a fucked up Dumbo. It wasn't the magic feather. It was you all along.
That's right.
You were the Nazi. You were the communist.
That's right. And it's like, that's not something that I was really thinking about, but it's like, oh, because a thing that comes up often, is how the, young people of Germany, people who are maybe even born, the same age as us, they were young when the wall fell, or maybe they were born after the wall fell, right? If you were born after the wall fell, you could be like freaking like 20-something years old, right?
Yeah. I mean, I remember the wall falling.
Yeah, me too. It's like, they still get like, guilt on them for the things that have happened in the past. And it's like, we always say, well, that's bullshit because you didn't do any of that shit. But your parents did, but meanwhile, if you read this book, it makes you think those people who were, the senior citizens of Germany don't feel, or maybe some of them don't feel like they were Nazis. But it's like, yes, you were. And then maybe the middle-aged people of Germany don't feel like they were, of East Germany at least, don't feel like they were communists. But it's like, yes, you are.
Well, this book brings up this idea that I've read
in other sources. You should feel guilty for the things that you actually did.
That in general, Germany, as it came back together, at least with the East German stuff and the Stasi, really tried to kind of pretend nothing happened until it was too late to do anything with the information.
Yep.
Like, they're just trying to wait until enough people are dead to where when all the secrets start really coming out, there's no one left to be personally affected enough to care.
Yep.
So that then it can just go into a museum without drama.
Mm-hmm.
You can, like, when the mobs
look at the puzzle thing, right? It's like, yeah, we could just get some computers and just put these all together without doing this. Instead, we're doing it this way, partially because the computers are too expensive, but partially for that reason you just said.
Yeah, Germany's a very prosperous country now, and that stuff is still
They have the
not moving
technology.
quickly.
It could be done.
And it's not moving quickly because there's too many people alive who are in those files.
Which means, look how many Stasi bad people are alive and living about their everyday lives.
Well, because look at the sheer percentage of people in East Germany who were part of that.
Yeah, they weren't as evil as Nazis, even though they were evil, so they didn't get like Nuremberg, but they're still bad people.
If the U.S. were like East Germany today, then we could assume that in the Front Row Crew Forum, probably a third to half of you are informers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that note that I never realized this, and it was brought up in two separate stories in this book, that there were the opposition organizations, like the student groups, had more infiltrators in them than they had members, but as a result, the infiltrators actually made these groups look bigger than they were, and how the Stasi had to deal with that as a problem.
Well, think about this, how this might relate to other places on Earth we don't realize. Like, when my grandma was young in the U.S., a lot of the people in the U.S. were people who actually were Confederates. They were alive. There were Confederate people alive. Still.
People whose parents fought in the Civil War saw the moon landing.
Exactly, right? So it's like, the bad, there were slaveholders walking around on the streets in the United States. Not anymore, right? Now their children are there, but their parents aren't. But it's like, there are still these cases, right, where it's like, people feel like, no longer guilty for crimes because some revolution happened and sort of washed everything away, right?
But at the same time, look at the sort of pragmatic reality of, as much as I would viscerally have wanted revenge. I mean, it's hard to not want revenge if you lived under something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, Germany reassembled itself relatively quickly, both after this and after just World War II in general. And Japan also did the same thing by having that sort of period of just wait and wait until it's not as...
Japan hasn't gotten over that because it wasn't even that long ago also. And those old people are way old, so plenty of those people are still around.
Yep, but they're just they're kind of just waiting and waiting and waiting and just waiting for this to go away.
Aren't they getting it worse because what's-his-face is in there?
Well, yeah, they got a few right-wing people, and there's right-wing people in Germany too.
Yeah. Sure, but at least you got the pirate party in Germany evening it out.
Yeah, but the pirate party increasingly has to seem to ally with bad people to get anywhere.
I'm not saying it's perfect, right? I'm just saying crazy things are going on there.
But yeah, it was an okay book, but I wouldn't necessarily, unless you're into this history, I think there are better books to read.
Yeah, like I'm sure there's a book out there like History of East Germany.
Or history of that crazy propaganda guy. Or YouTube videos of his show.
yeah.
So yeah, that's it. We got the next book. It's Halloween. It's 2013. We started this Geek Nights shit in 2005, and we're still doing it.
How long will we still do it?
I think we got another 10 or 20 years.
Great. I'll have to kill you.
Yeah, and not if I kill you first. Watch, Geek Nights ends one day with us killing each other live on the show.
Yeah, I will live.
All right.
Jefferson.
Adams. This has been Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Special thanks to DJ Pretzel for the opening music, Kat Lee for web design, and Brando K for the logos.
Be sure to visit our website at frontrowcrew.com for show notes, discussion, news, and more.
Remember, Geek Nights is not one, but 4 different shows. Sci-Tech Mondays, Gaming Tuesdays, Anime Comic Wednesdays, and Indiscriminate Thursdays.
Geek Nights is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Geek Nights is recorded live with no studio and no audience. But unlike those other late shows, it's actually recorded at night. It's October 31st, 2005. This is Geek Nights with Rim and Scott. Let's do this.
Leroy
Jenkins. We should probably put Leroy in there. Whatever. Doot 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 doot. Oh, I got. We can start the news like doot 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 doot, but not the noise, dude. Me going doot 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 doot.
You want to do that? Originally, we're gonna have the closing music be, So, I guess we could do that. Or I could make that sound.
I think that's copyrighted or patented by whatever news
No,
originally
we'll
used
just
that.
make it something else. It's just Morse code. We'll make it say something geeky.
Ah, let's do this in Morse code.
That's real slick. I like it.
All right, we're good. Okay, so Scalito. So, personal lawyer didn't cut it, to no surprise. So he picks the most conservative judge he could find in all of the appeals courts.
Samuel Alito.
Yeah.
He's a little conservative.
Little bit.
Yeah. Because, the Senate's main gripe, at least the Republicans' main gripe with Myers, wasn't that they didn't know about her. It was that she wasn't proven to be conservative enough.
Well, this guy's real conservative, but, you know, you look
he's
at...
not real conservative. I don't think he's, states' rights. I think he's more, Roe versus Wade.
They pretty much call him Scalito when his name is Alito because he's Scalia too. But if you look at, there's a Scalia, however you want to pronounce. I don't know how the correct pronunciation. I've heard both, but Scalia. I look at his voting record.